The dense black smoke that swirled in the abyss-like ceiling high above the Vampire Council table formed a moaning funnel. A long strand of it touched down, as though a violent twister, depositing a hooded messenger before sucking back into itself like a giant vacuum to resume its previous whirling mass. Now Carlos understood what was in the screeching cloud. Things that went for food, bodies, and anything else the Vampire Council requested. The messenger used his scythe to motion for Carlos to follow him.
The Vampire Council occupies the 6th realm, with which you have been made familiar. What you have not seen here is for the knowledge of the council members only. As we go, we will stop on each of the 5 demon realms with brevity. I am told you are valuable cargo, and the upper realms have formed a resistance.
Carlos nodded. The council chairman waved his hand. Just as quickly as he'd consented without words, the funnel reappeared, creating a whining turbine sound. A putrid wind rushed against Carlos's face. This time, no terror entered Carlos as the bony messenger's hand clutched him, and the tornado-like cloud enveloped them. He was on a mission. He'd been granted temporary immunity. He'd cut the deal of life. The powerful strength of Master Vampire's status surged through his veins. Curiosity about this strange new life replaced fear. Soon the jettison slowed. Carlos landed hard on his feet and heard a crunching noise under them, like twigs snapping. Screams of agony met him as they echoed through the distance. The messenger's eyes narrowed as he pointed ahead of them with his scythe. They were standing in a clearing at the edge of dense black woods. Tall, disfigured trees with no leaves rose and twisted amid a climbing bramble of thorns that seemed alive with motion. It was so dim that even with his heightened ability to see in the dark, he had to strain to differentiate the shapes of objects before him. Slowly but surely, he could begin to make out the strange new environment, relying partly on his physical awareness and partly on his mental sight.
Look deeply, the entity whispered. This is the Were realm.
As soon as the messenger had spoken, Carlos heard several mournful howls echo in the distance. The screams that sounded human were ever present, and the wolf-like mourn pierced those cries to create a chilling call and response in the darkness. Within seconds, golden yellow eyes opened in the shadows within the thicket. Carlos glanced down at his feet and saw human skulls and bones instead of twigs. He was speechless.
There are many different mutations within a demon species. The were creatures are one evolutionary turn from vampire. Vampires have their wolfen trait from one of their particular lineages, but are more sophisticated. The were creatures can deliver a vicious bite, turn their prey, or eat them, but they cannot hold their shape permanently. They are beholden to the moon. This is what gives the vampire realm the advantage. Our bite is permanent, hence our superiority. Our human turns do not shapeshift based upon the phases of the moon.
Curious, Carlos glanced around.
How do you keep humans alive down here so the werewolves can feed on live prey?
The messenger chuckled.
Ha! You refer to the perpetual night sounds here? The human screams,
Carlos said impatiently.
Those are harvested souls, not living humans. The were creatures, like other demons, are released through their topside portals by a curse or ritual levied by a human with a soul. They eat topside, as do we all. But what remains here are the souls of the damned to also be feasted upon in perpetuity. The damned fuel the transformations and give each demon species strength. The damned feel each topside human attack.
Carlos rubbed his jaw and continued to monitor the distance of the sounds which were advancing.
The souls take the weight?
Correct. The messenger nodded.
Each demon is created by the deepest, darkest, most twisted human thought and desire. You are aware that thoughts and beliefs manifest?
I am now.
Good. You learn fast. The thoughts create the density of the demon, determine its range of power or its horror. The lower realms are of the darkest thoughts, most twisted human conception of evil, with a little creative license from our Dark Lord. And so it is with the souls. The greater the sin, the deeper the soul is sent into our realms to contend with the most ravenous of our demons. Sometimes the soul of an unredeemed sinner is ripped apart to experience multiple levels of hell. Their harvest location all depends on what the primary focus of their human life has been. Vengeance, lust, greed, murder. Pick one. As we visit the upper levels, you will notice that the density is less, as is the darkness. It is all relative.